Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're doing something really practical, I think, for anyone learning English. Yeah, we're taking a deep dive into, well, how to sound natural, how to sound confident
Right.
when you meet new people. Start those conversations in English.
That's absolutely right. Because we know how important those first interactions can be.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at a real conversation example. We'll break it down piece by piece
Okay.
and pull out some specific words, phrases, even pronunciation points that are just super useful for you to start using.
Great.
Yeah, the goal here is really to help you boost your fluency, feel more comfortable, with everyday English.
And this is the English Podcast by Cambridge Veritas. We're all about helping you master English conversation, fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine this. You're visiting a friend, right? Maybe a cousin, someone you know well. You get to their place, and there's someone else there, someone you haven't met before. Could be their roommate, another friend.
Happens all the time.
It really does. A really common scenario.
And we've actually got a little conversation here that captures that exact moment pretty well.
Yeah.
It's between two people, Matt and Todd. They're meeting for the first time. Matt's visiting his cousin John.
Okay.
And Todd. He's John's roommate. Simple situation, but like you said, the language is, well, it's packed with useful stuff.
It really is. So maybe we should read it through slowly.
Good idea.
Just so everyone can hear the rhythm, see how the phrases sort of fit together in a real chat.
Okay. How about you read Matt's lines and I'll take Todd's?
Sounds perfect. Let's do it. Hi, you must be John's cousin Matt, right?
Yeah.
From San Diego.
Correct. I just got in last night.
I'm Todd, John's roommate from Tech. Glad to meet you. I can assure you that I'm not anything like what Jotin has told you.
I'm happy to meet you too. And yes, I have heard about you.
Yeah.
Football player and party animal extraordinaire.
Football, yes. And as a matter of fact, I do like parties. But tell me more about yourself and what you do in San Diego.
Well, I'm more of a surfer than a football player. San Diego has a fantastic coast, and we can surf all day and then party on the beach at night.
That sounds awesome. How long are you staying?
Well, I'll be here for 2 weeks. John has promised me a nonstop schedule, kind of a mix of sightseeing, meeting his friends, checking out the local scene, and hopefully camping in the mountains for a couple of days.
John's a good guy, and you can be sure he knows the local scene. He knows everybody in town. I'm sure he'll show you a good time. And his friends are here to help.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I'm still a bit jet-lagged at the moment, but should be in good shape by tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing what John has in store for me.
Don't worry. We'll all take good care of you. And don't be surprised if we show up on your doorstep in San Diego one day, ready for surfing.
Okay, so listening back to that, it flows quite naturally, doesn't it?
It really does.
And like you were saying, there's a lot of useful English just packed into that short exchange.
Absolutely. It's a great little snapshot of how people genuinely talk when they first meet.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting for us and for you listening, because we can pull out some of those key phrases, those ideas, and really dig into how they work.
And how you can use them.
Exactly. How you can start using them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So where do we start? Right at the beginning. Introductions.
Makes sense.
Todd says, I'm Todd. Glad to meet you. What are the sort of standard ways people do this in English?
Well, the simplest, most common way is exactly that. I'm your name. Just very direct.
Okay.
You also hear my name's your name quite a lot. Also very standard.
Right.
Now, if you're introducing other people,
Yeah.
you'd usually say something like, this is my friend, Sarah.
Okay.
Or if there's, more than one person, these are my friends, Sarah and Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And you might add a bit more context, like, this is Sarah, my colleague, or my coworker.
Yeah.
And it's worth mentioning the cultural note about handshakes. In many English-speaking places, offering your right hand.
Right, the handshake.
Yeah, it's pretty customary, especially maybe in slightly more formal settings or just polite first meetings. Less so maybe in very casual situations with younger people. Sometimes it's skipped.
Good point. Okay, so you've got the introduction. How do you reply? Matt says, I'm happy to meet you too. What are the options there?
Yeah, the common replies are things like, I'm glad to meet you, I'm happy to meet you, or maybe, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, exactly. And then the key thing is often the reply back includes too. So I'm happy to meet you too, or nice to meet you too.
And you stressed too there.
I did, yeah. Sometimes people stress too, or sometimes they stress the auxiliary verb, like I am happy to meet you too.
Oh, interesting.
That little bit of stress, it adds to the politeness, makes it sound more natural in that exchange.
That slight emphasis changes the feel. Okay, moving on. I noticed Todd didn't just introduce himself. He started with a question to confirm who Matt was.
Yeah.
He said, "You must be John's cousin, Matt." Right. And Matt replied, "Correct." How does that work?
Right. At the end of a statement, it's a really common, informal way to check information you think you already know.
Like saying, "Is that correct?"
Exactly. Or is that true? This bus goes downtown, right?
And the typical answer,
The most standard reply is probably, "That's right. So this bus goes downtown, right?" That's right.
okay. And Matt just says, "Correct." Is that the same thing?
Pretty much, yeah. Correct is just another informal confirmation. A bit shorter, maybe a bit more punchy.
Right.
You might hear, "You're here for the 10 o'clock meeting, right?" Correct. It works just the same.
So what if it's not right? How do you politely disagree?
Good question. You'd usually say something like, "No, that's not right," or "Actually, no, that's not correct."
And then fix it.
Yeah, ideally you'd follow up with the correct information. "No, that's not right. I'm actually John's brother," or whatever it is.
Okay. Now, what about that other use of, "Yeah, right," the sarcastic one?
Oh, yes. Definitely watch out for this one. The tone is everything. If someone says something you just don't believe at all.
Like, "I've finished the whole report in an hour."
Exactly. You might reply, "Yeah, right," with heavy stress on right.
Implying, "I don't believe you for a second."
Precisely. "Yeah, right. No way." It completely flips the meaning to disbelief.
Tone and stress are so important in English. Okay, let's look at another phrase. When Matt calls Todd a party animal extraordinaire, Todd replies, "As a matter of fact, I do like parties."
Right, as a matter of fact. Or you could often just say, "Actually."
Okay.
These are useful little expressions. You use them to confirm something that was just said or maybe implied, often adding a bit more emphasis or detail.
So how do they work in a sentence?
As a matter of fact often comes near the beginning, like Todd's example, or sometimes after the verb. He is, as a matter of fact, quite talented.
And actually.
Actually usually fits in smoothly after the verb, like, "I am, actually," or "She does actually know him." They just add that little confirmation or touch of truth.
Got it. Then Matt says he just got in last night. Let's break that down. First, just.
Okay, just here means a very short time before now.
Right. Recent.
Exactly. We often use it with the simple past, like, "I just got in," or sometimes with the present perfect, "I have just finished." It emphasizes the recentness.
And the phrasal verb, to get in.
Yeah, to get in. It's a really common way to say to arrive, especially when you're talking about, transport or reaching your destination.
Like flights or trains.
Or even just arriving home. "What time did you get in last night?" "My flight got in late." We mostly use it talking about the past arrival.
What about arriving in the future?
For the future, we'd more likely use get there. Like, "What time will you get there?" Not get in.
Okay, that's a useful distinction. Does get in mean anything else? English phrasal verbs often do.
They certainly do. Yes, get in can also mean being accepted
Accepted where?
into a school, a university, maybe a club, or some kind of group. Did she get into Oxford? He finally got in the team. Completely different meaning.
Wow. Okay. Context is everything.
Always.
Back in the conversation, Todd uses phrases like, "I can assure you that,"
Yeah.
and later, "You can be sure he knows." What's the function there?
These are ways to sound very confident about something. To, well, assure the listener.
To build trust.
Exactly, to build confidence. "I can assure you that your package will arrive tomorrow." Or, "You can be sure that you'll do a great job." It's expressing strong belief.
Is "I promise you that." Similar.
Very similar, yes.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Might feel a little more personal, perhaps, but it serves the same function of expressing certainty.
Okay. Now let's talk about how they describe people. Matt says he's more of a surfer than a football player.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd gets called a party animal extraordinaire. Let's start with party animal.
Party animal. It's a fun, informal term, isn't it? It just means someone who really loves parties, loves socializing, going out, having a good time. He's such a party animal, always the last one to leave.
And extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fancy.
It does. It's borrowed from French, pronounced extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
Okay, you put it after a noun and it just exaggerates it. Makes it sound exceptional.
So not just a party animal, but an amazing party animal.
Exactly. A party animal of the highest order. You can use it with other things, too, like chef extraordinaire or artist extraordinaire. It adds a bit of flair.
That's a fun one.
Mhm.
Okay, then Todd changes the subject, asking, but tell me more about yourself and what you do in San Diego. Let's focus on what do you do?
Right. This is a classic question. Usually when someone asks, what do you do? Just like that, they're asking about your job, your profession.
Okay, and how do you answer that typically?
Usually with I'm a you or he's he plus the job title. I'm a graphic designer. She's a nurse.
Use A for singular jobs.
Generally, yes. Unless it's plural, then no article. They're teachers. Or if it's a unique role, maybe use the he's the CEO.
Got it. But what if, like Todd did, you add a place or time? What do you do in San Diego?
That changes everything. Excellent point. If you add a time or place, what do you do on weekends? What do you do in the evenings? What does he do at work? Then you're not asking about their job anymore.
You were asking about...
Their activities, how they spend their time in that context.
So the answer would be different.
Completely. What do you do on weekends? Oh, I usually play football or see friends. Not, I'm a teacher. That distinction is really important.
Definitely good for learners to know. And what about the first part of Todd's question? Tell me about yourself.
That's a much broader, more open-ended question. It's polite, shows interest.
And lets the other person choose what to share.
Exactly. It gives them control. They can talk about their job, hobbies, where they're from, family, whatever they feel comfortable sharing in that moment. It's a good way to invite someone to open up a bit.
Puts the ball in their court, yeah. Okay, there were loads of other useful bits in that chat and material. Can we quickly run through a few more common ones, like awesome?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Super common, informal, just means great, fantastic, wonderful, cool. You hear it all the time. That sounds awesome.
Nonstop schedule.
Means really, really busy, packed schedule, no breaks.
Like around the clock?
Similar idea, yeah.
Okay.
Or 24/7 for things that happen continuously.
Okay, a mix?
Simply a combination, a variety. The party food was a mix of snacks and sandwiches.
Hopefully.
Useful word. Shows you're expressing a wish or hope about the future.
I can move around.
Yeah, hopefully the weather will be good. Or, well, the weather will be good, hopefully.
A couple of.
Right, technically means two. But informally,
That means a few.
yeah, often just means a small number. 2, 3, maybe 4. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Could be 5 minutes.
Huh, okay. A good guy.
Informal way to describe a man who's, kind, helpful, understanding. Need help. Ask Dave. He's a good guy.
You wouldn't say a good girl for a woman in the same way, would you?
Not really in that same sense, no. You'd just say she's kind or helpful or nice.
Right. The local scene.
That refers to the sort of culture, entertainment, nightlife, social activities in a particular town or area. What's the local music scene like?
To show someone a good time.
It means to entertain them, make sure they enjoy themselves, especially if they're visiting. We really tried to show our cousins a good time when they stayed.
Thanks so much.
Just a slightly stronger way to say thank you, more appreciative.
In replies.
Oh, standard ones. You're welcome, no problem, anytime, my pleasure, glad I could help. Lots of options.
To be in good shape.
Okay, this one can be tricky. Often it means financially sound or situationally good. The company's in good shape this year.
Not physically fit.
That's usually to be in shape, without the good. So, he's in shape means he's fit. His finances are in good shape means he's doing well financially. Subtle difference.
Good one to note. To be looking forward to or can't wait to.
Both express excitement about something coming up in the future.
Key difference.
Remember that looking forward to needs a noun or an ing verb after to. I'm looking forward to the holiday. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
But can't wait to uses the base verb.
Exactly. I can't wait to see you.
Okay. And to have in store for.
This refers to something unknown that the future holds. Could be good, could be bad. Let's see what the weekend has in store for us.
And one last one. To show up on someone's doorstep.
Means to visit someone unexpectedly, without arranging it first.
Like drop in or drop by?
Similar, yeah. Those usually imply shorter, casual visits.
Yeah.
Show up on the doorstep can feel a bit more, sudden.
And doesn't show up have other meanings too?
It does. It can mean to fail to appear. He didn't show up for the meeting. Or, completely differently, it can mean to perform well, maybe better than expected or better than someone else. She really showed up everyone else in the presentation.
Wow. So many meanings.
Context, context, context.
That short conversation really was a goldmine when you break it all down like that.
Absolutely was. And, speaking of sounding natural, it's not just the words, is it? It's how you say them.
Right, the pronunciation, the stress.
Exactly. We touched on stressing, too, earlier, and the sarcastic, That emphasis or stress is really key in other areas too, like short answers to yes/no questions.
Ah, those emphatic tag answers. Tell us more about that. Seems subtle but important.
It really makes a difference to the rhythm. So when you answer a yes/no question, especially if you want to be clear or maybe just sound natural, you often stress the auxiliary verb or the verb to be.
Okay, give us an example with to be.
Sure, are you tired? Yes, I am.
Stress on am.
Right. Is she ready? Yes, she is. Are they coming? Yes, they are.
And negatives.
Negatives often use contractions, and the stress is still there. No, I'm not. No, he isn't. No, they aren't.
But you could use the full form for more emphasis.
You could.
Yeah.
No, I am not going. That sounds quite strong.
Okay, so stress on the verb be or its negative form. What about other verbs?
Same idea, but you stress the auxiliary verb like do, does, did, have, can.
So, do you like coffee?
Yes, I do, or no, I don't.
Did she finish?
Yes, she did, or no, she didn't. The stress falls on that little auxiliary word.
Okay, so paying attention to which word gets that little bit of extra volume in short answers is really part of sounding natural.
It absolutely is. It's part of the music of English, you could say.
We mentioned stressing, too, the auxiliary verbs and answers. It really highlights how important stress and rhythm are.
Hugely important. So our recommendation for you listening is, as you learn and practice these phrases, really try saying them out loud.
Listen for the stress.
Yes, listen to examples like our conversation and try to mimic that natural stress pattern. It's fantastic practice.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given us, and hopefully you, a lot of really practical tools. Introductions, confirmations, great expressions, those grammar points about stress. What's the best way now for listeners to really make this language their own?
Practice is key, isn't it? It's always the next step.
Mhm.
Don't just, passively learn the list of phrases. Try to actually use them.
Even just talking to yourself.
Absolutely. Talk to yourself, write sentences, imagine scenarios like Matt and Todd's, and practice playing both roles. Breaking down conversations like we did is great for understanding.
Seeing how it works.
Exactly. But then you need to actively practice to build that fluency and, importantly, that confidence for when you're in a real situation.
And maybe doing some exercises like trying to answer questions about the conversation or matching phrases. That could help cement the learning too.
Definitely. Anything that gets you actively using and thinking about the language is going to help embed it.
Well, that really was an incredibly useful, practical deep dive into handling those first meetings in English.
Yeah.
We covered quite a lot. Introductions, checking information, all those colorful expressions, and the important bits about grammar and pronunciation emphasis.
And remember, just getting comfortable with these common ways of speaking and practicing how they sound, it really will make a big difference.
Make you feel more confident.
And sound much more natural when you're meeting people. Maybe try using just one or two new things you learned today.
This has been the English Podcast by Cambridge Veritas.
And for more ways to practice to improve your English conversation, your fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
You should join the live classes on YouTube every weekend. You'll find the link in the description below.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today. Keep practicing, keep learning.
And keep talking to people.